most travel camera system will force you to choose between versatility, image quality, performance, and size, but not with Micro Four Thirds. Micro Four Thirds is highly adaptable camera system, and to prove that, for my upcoming trip, I've come up with a tightly dialed in travel camera and lenses setup that is highly versatile but still very fun and engaging to shoot with. Hey friends, Gary here. Welcome to today's video. Today I'm sharing my Micro Four Thirds travel photography camera and lens setup for my upcoming trip. The emphasis of this particular setup is not only about portability, image quality, and versatility. Yes, they are all important, but it's also about having fun and inspiring gear that makes you want to shoot more photos. As we all know, with Micro Four Thirds, we have choices of plenty different kinds of lenses, from a super zoom lens that can cover almost anything to prime lenses that can absolutely nail specific photography genres. And today, my setup is a combination of different kinds of lenses that are very tightly dialed in for this specific destination. I'm not going to reveal where I'm going to just yet, but just know that these lenses that I choose will be very specific to only this destination. Again, the point with this setup is to showcase how highly adaptable Micro Four Thirds is, and also to have as little compromise as possible. Let's start with the camera first. The camera of choice, and I'm also spoilering the primary lens that I will use for this trip, is going to be the Panasonic Lumix G100. It's been proven for travel photography many times. I took it to Iceland, I took it to Singapore, to Bali, to Jakarta, to all different kinds of places, taking different kinds of photos in different kinds of conditions. It just performed really well. The G100 never fails, and the reason why I kept choosing the G100 nowadays is very simple. It's because the camera is very small and very lightweight. It is slightly heavier and bigger than my smallest and lightest Micro Four Thirds camera, but it has some important additions, some important features that my smallest and lightest camera don't have. First of all, it's the grip right here, so chunky, so nice to handle the camera, and also the front position shutter button. Manual control with the G100 is excellent. Lots of dials, lots of buttons. You can just access all the important settings right at your fingertips without having to deal with the menu or the touch screen. And then also there's a fully articulating screen. I think this is very fantastic because not only it helps you with maybe recording yourself or taking selfie, but also for vertical photography compositions, vertical street photography, vertical landscape. This is very helpful. And then also it has EVF. I don't really use the EVF that much, but on certain kind of conditions, this can be a lifesaver. Overall, the G100 is just a travel-friendly package. It's a great platform to attach lenses to, and it's very dependable. Thus, it is going to be my primary and only Micro Four Thirds camera in this particular trip. And that leads me nicely to the primary Micro Four Thirds lens that I will use in this particular trip, which is this guy right here. You already seen it for a few minutes now. It's the Panasonic Leica 15mm f1.7. So on my previous trip to Bali, my primary lens is this guy right here, the Panasonic Lumix 14mm f2.5, and it worked amazingly well. I love this guy. This is so small, so lightweight, but the image quality is just fantastic, and I just love using this guy. So versatile. Well, the 15, although it is slightly bigger than the 14, I think it's just a little bit more enjoyable to use. First of all, because it has larger aperture Focal length between 15 and 14, I don't see that much difference. It is still a very versatile focal length, moderately wide angle, but you can still get close enough, and it's perfect for environmental portrait, for scenery, for general everyday stuff when you are traveling, for food photography, for selfie with your family member, for anything really. This is probably going to be my most used lens. It's going to be my primary lens. The 15mm, 14mm focal length, that kind of range is always my favorite focal length when I'm just using one prime lens. Now my secondary lens when I was traveling to Bali a few months ago is this guy right here, the Panasonic Lumix 20mm f1.7. I thought this is going to be my second most used lens because it offered a more zoomed in perspective compared to the moderate wide angle of the 14mm, thus making things pop a little bit more, but I was mistaken. I did not use this lens at all, and I learned that I prefer something even wider than 14 because sometimes you want to capture a big scenery, nice great vista, things like that, beach environment, stuff like that. So I'm going to not carry the 20mm and I'm going to bring this guy instead. This is the 7 Artisan 10mm f3.5 ultra wide angle lens. I think this is more important than the 20mm. I think this will get used at least a few times because for scenery photography, I think ultra wide is very useful. Yes, it's not the most ideal lens in the world. First of all, it is manual focus only, so yeah, that might turn off some people. And also, it doesn't have large aperture, it's only f3.5. But for travel photography, I think this is where this lens could shine. It is small, it is lightweight, being almost a pancake lens. Manual focus with ultra wide is not really a problem, so I don't think that I will be too stressed about the fact that I have to do manual focus. And f3.5, anything's going to be in focus anyway, so I don't need to worry too much about having larger aperture or things like that. This is actually a blessing in disguise. And yeah, again, for large scenery, ultra wide scenery, beach photography, that kind of stuff, if I encounter something beautiful, then I could just probably use this lens. Next lens that I will bring on this trip is the Panasonic Lumix 35 to 100mm f4 to f5.6. This is my secret weapon for travel photography. A telephoto lens that is small and lightweight, doesn't weigh that much inside of your camera bag, and it can perform really well. This lens really created some of the most magnificent photos that I ever captured on my previous trips, but you know, without the hassle of carrying a big bulky telephoto lens. This is actually a lifesaver for travel, and the image quality, even not being a pro lens, is very high. I mean, detail, contrast, color, sharpness, everything about this guy is just excellent. So it's a no-brainer for me to carry this lens for this upcoming trip. Now, some of you might ask me, hey Gary, why don't you just use a super zoom lens or a general purpose zoom lens like your kit lens? They're simple, they are convenient, they are versatile, they are high quality, and they can replace all the lenses that you just mentioned. And you are right, yes, these lenses will be the one and done lens for travel photography. But for my upcoming trip, I actually want this specific setup because I want compartmentalization, specific lenses for specific function. For example, the 15mm will be my primary lens for almost everything because of the normal wide angle and also the large aperture. I think this will be for the everyday kind of stuff. The majority of what I will capture, I will assign that task to this lens. And the other two lenses, this is for the ultra wide stuff when I'm encountering beautiful scenery, or maybe I want to do a wide selfie with my wife, then I will use the 7 Artisan 10mm. And the 35 to 100 is for different kind of purpose as well. It's for telephoto shot, for compression shot. If I saw something far away in the distance that looks interesting, I can still kind of reach it with this lens and be able to capture it. So having these 3 different lenses doing 3 different things, I think works better for this particular destination. And also second, and also as important reason, is because using different lenses are fun. Yes, they created a little bit more hassle when you want to switch task from shooting a certain kind of photography category into different kind of photography category. Then you have to switch lens. That could take some time. That could mean a missed shot. But using different lenses, they are fun. They are inspiring. They make me want to go out and shoot more photos, and that's the point right here. Travel photography isn't always about getting nice photo. It isn't just always about capturing photo in general, but it's also about enjoying the photography experience. When you have the time, when you have the possibility of indulging, being immersed in the photography experience, this kind of setup will make you go, oh wow, yeah, I really enjoy using this setup. It is so satisfying. It makes me really enjoy every step that I have to take when I want to take a photo, composing with this lens, and then also adjusting the camera, adjusting the aperture until I finally get the shot that I want. You know, this satisfaction comes from the progress, not just from the result. And having tools that inspire you to enjoy the progress, I think is important right here. Anyway, before I end the video, I just want to share some non-Micro Four Thirds gear that I will also carry for this travel photography purpose. First of all, it's my video camera. It's going again to be the DJI Action 4 with the microphone. This is the DJI Mic 2 if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, this will be for my underwater needs if I'm swimming, and also for recording B-roll, and maybe to record a vlog as well, because the Action 4 really excels in that kind of situation. So yeah, this is my video camera. And then also I will be bringing my phone right here. This is the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5. Currently, I'm using it to read the bullet points for this video, but for this trip, I will use it again, as with my previous trips, to record B-roll for the video, and also to capture some snapshot photos. Things that are not mission critical, maybe just casual stuff, or maybe just taking photo of the sign so that I can remember what it says, and let my Micro Four Thirds camera and lenses do a more serious photography stuff. And also, I will be carrying this sling bag right here to carry all of my gear. This is the Alpaka Go Sling Mini version 2. It is weather sealed. It doesn't look like a camera bag, and it's so slick, it's so stealthy, and it can again fit everything inside. It's quite roomy. I can fit the camera, all 3 lenses with the DJI Action 4, and some travel EDC as well. And that wraps up today's video. So that is my travel photography setup featuring my Micro Four Thirds cameras and lenses for my upcoming trip. Hopefully this has been interesting, entertaining, fun, and inspiring as well. But enough about me. What about you? What are you going to bring for your future trip? What cameras, what lenses? Please let me know on the comment down below. I always love to read your comment. I always love to learn from you, so please share down below. Anyway, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to my channel down below. If you want to support my work even further, consider becoming a member of my Patreon. Check out my latest travel photography video course called Simplifying Travel Photography. Use the affiliate links down below, or use the super thanks button to make a small donation to my channel. Thank you, and I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.